Hello fellow modelers! In today's video I'm going to assemble a small German Opel Omnibus. The only manufacturer that makes this model in 7:2 scale is Roden. It contains metal parts and clear parts from thin foil. I was surprised by the number of the small parts, like the whole engine. Some details are slightly simplified, but I think it looks lovely. This kit was also cheap, it cost me $11. For this price, it is excellent and unique kit. I removed guide pins for better fitting. It is shame that this excellent engine is hidden inside of the model. It is important to remove all visible seam lines and ejector pin marks. Handy tools are nail files and sponge sandpapers. The wheels have indicated holes, but you can drill them out if you have a thin drill bits. The difference is splendid. Roden has many thin parts, but the problem is that the plastic is relatively fragile. So it could happen that some parts crack during gluing or removing from the sprue. Many parts do not have guide pins, so you must adjust the shape by yourself, and sometimes it could be tricky to find a proper position. In this case, I do not use instant glue but super thin glue, which partly melts down plastic, dries slower and allows me to adjust the shape. I like different materials for improving my models. Soft metal filtration mesh could be handy for radiator details, or you can use it as an air intake cover. I prefer filling minor seam lines with a Tamiya grey putty. You can make it smoother with a leveling thinner or actually with any lacquer thinner. There are nice metal parts for the roof rack cargo basket, but the metal parts are too flat, so I designed new round parts in 3D and print them. And if I'm talking about new parts, I wouldn't say I like the front grille. This part is small, but I think I can improve it. The first idea was to remove and replace the grille with plastic profiles. This solution is faster, but imperfect, so I returned to the drawing board and designed a new front grille with a Opel Blitz logo. Of course, you can see separate letters in 7:2 scale. By the way, all the files are available for my Patreons or on Cult 3D, so if you want to make the same model, these parts will hopefully be handy. I decided to create some extra 3D parts for every new project, so this will be interesting. Primarily, it will motivate me to improve my 3D modeling skills. And of course, some resin cargo from Black Dog. They have some cargo sets precisely for this model, but I prefer to place each part separately. I highly recommend spraying few layers of a primer. I made improvements and filled seam lines. The primer reveals imperfections on the kit surface. Now you can clearly see that the front part has a pronounced orange peel texture. I like the grille details, they are even more visible after primer. I am scribing new lines with a razor saw. I must be careful and make sure that it is not too deep. Otherwise it is easy to disassemble parts. I need positive lines on the engine cover joint. You can use residual sprue and engine thin fiber with a lighter. I removed some imperfections and created new details, so the next step is painting. I use acrylic Tamiya or AK real colors, because they are cheap, available and easy to clean from the airbrush. The process is simple. I fill the airbrush with a clean alcohol and blow the residual paint out. I paint small details with acrylic paints like Vallejo, Citadel or Revel Aqua, primarily because I can dilute them with water, they are odorless and working with them is pleasant. You can make many interesting effects if you highly dilute them, for example accumulated dust. I decided on typical German 3-color camouflage marking, which is more interesting than only yellow from Africa. I have a precise paints, but the red-brown is for 72 scale too dark, so adding a few drops of a light brown is good. I do not know the precise dilution for camouflage paint, because some are thinner than others. Therefore I am testing dilution on the piece of paper or plastic board. It is good to have an airbrush with a 0.2 mm nozzle, even if you make larger models. I do not have a color scheme or historical photos, so I'm making the stains more or less randomly. I attach wheels on the toothpick for easier manipulation. Acrylic paints are great for shading. The interior will be hardly seen, but at least some wooden texture. I bought a wet palette from AliExpress for a few dollars. It is a small box with a sponge and baking paper, but I like it because it has practical design, lid and brush cleaning container. I like the effects that you can make with water and acrylic paint. When the color is dry, you cannot reactivate it with water, allowing lovely layering painting. Now I am fixing the surface with a soft layer of a clear varnish, because the kit has few decals. They are resilient, so I was forced to use Agama Hypersol, which is very aggressive decals chemical. It easily removes acrylic paint. I applied matte varnish later. The kit does not have a clear parts, but this clear film instead. It would be best if you cut them out with a sharp scissors. And I'm gluing this film with super glue. The next step is weathering. It will make the model more lively and interesting, at least I hope. I am cutting a mask for wipers from a cell adhesive masking sheet. If you spray dust paint over it, it will make a nice effect of the accumulated dirt on the glass. I used enamel paint, but it didn't adhere to the surface too much, so I use this as an advantage and wipe out the paint with a dry brush. But the result is lovely. I struggle to insert chassis. What cannot be done with a force can be done with an even greater force. I am highlighting details with a brown enamel wash. This wash can be wiped out only with an enamel thinner, but the drying time is faster than oil. And minor shading with oil paints. The advantage is that you can nicely blend them and make a smooth transition. Last but not least, I'm painting many tiny scratches. It is good to have a thin brush with a natural hair. And more dust with a highly diluted enamel paint. It is the same paint which I used for windows. Enamel paints are great for weathering effects, because you can reactivate them with a thinner, dry fast and have a lovely matte finish. And more matte splatters with dark brown enamel paint. This paint must be more denser, otherwise the dots will spread. And few final touches. I'm fixing cargo with a lead wire, because it's nicely flexible and a little bit toxic. Don't worry, it is not dangerous if you clean your hands properly after work. Okay, and with this bombshell, it's time to end. I feel your confusion if you are a beginner. You may need clarification of the different types of paints I use. So I will try to make a video on this topic. I hope it will not make a even more mess in your head. This small model was relaxing, because I have a more serious project on the table from Roden. So you can guess and write me a comment. Thank you for watching and see you next time.